What is an alert or pop-up? Alert or pop-up. When I say an alert or pop-up, it is not an web element. First thing, not an web element. If it is not an web element, we cannot inspect anything. If it is an web element, definitely we can inspect. In the HTML code, we will try to find the locator of that particular element and we can write our action in the automation script. But if it is not an web element, so we cannot inspect anything. Then if it is not an web element, what it is? It is an web object. It is a web object. Let me go to you some random website so that you can understand what I am saying. This is some demo website. Likewise, whatever the actions we are performing here in the automation script, wherever you see alerts, you can use the particular actions or the methods so that you can work with alerts or pop-ups. So suppose if there is a button in any web page, when you click on that button, it will ask for a prompt. This is nothing but an alert. Here, this is the button. If you click this button, you have got this prompt. But in some another web page, the prompt may look like different. But even though the prompt is different, you can use the methods which we are able to discuss right now. And as said, alert or pop-up is not an web element. If it is not an web element, definitely you will not able to inspect. Let me right click here. See, upon right clicking also, I'm not able to get anything. Or let me right click here. I'm not able to get anything. Or go to more tools, developer tools. And if you can see here, let me take this pointer and come here. See, there is no HTML code also and not able to identify this particular element. If you are able to identify, then it is a web element, but you are not able to identify. It is a web object. Then how can you interact with this type of element? Alert or pop-up. To handle alerts or pop-ups, in the Selenium WebDriver, we have different functions. One is text, one is accept, and one is dismiss. These are the three different type of functions available in the WebDriver to interact or to handle alerts. You go here, click on this particular element or the button. This particular pop-up has been arrived. If you say, this is the text, I can say inner text of this alert. And cancel is nothing but the dismiss function in the WebDriver. OK is nothing but the accept. And this is the text, which it will accept some input. So for inputting some values to this particular text box, you can use send keys method as well or function as well. So before performing these things, including send keys method as well, you need to first switch to this particular alert. Otherwise, you will not be able to perform these actions. So how you can switch to alert? We will see in a while. Let me go to PyCharm. Let me create one folder of day 26. In the day 26, let me create alerts Python module. For every automation script, definitely importing WebDriver is common. You need to import by, you need to initialize desired capabilities. Definitely you need to have experimental option for making the WebDriver or Chrome browser or the browser which we open should not close until unless we pass close or quit command. Initializing a driver variable with the help of driver variable, you are able to handle these particular alerts. With the help of driver variable, what you will do? After switching, you can perform these actions. You need to switch to this particular alert. How you can switch? There is one method, switch to alert. Switch to dot alert. This is the method which after switching to alert, we can perform these actions. How you can switch? With the help of driver variable, you can switch. Let me take this particular URL. Let me go here. Let me use driver dot get. When I use get, definitely it will open the URL. And thereafter, driver dot maximize window. And after opening this particular URL, I need to find this particular button. This button can be able to identify, but the prompt or the alert or the pop-up, I'm not able to identify. If you see here, this is the button, and this is the HTML code of this particular element, which is a button. And if you see, one click is the attribute, and JS prompt is the value. And if you see, it is having inner text, this particular button. And you can use normalize space for identifying this particular element, because if you see, there is a space in between O to word. So I don't want to bother about the spaces. Then definitely I can go for normalize space. This is the method which we have discussed in XPath. Let me write the XPath here. Control F. It is having the tag of button, or you can use star as well. / button, and in the button you are having multiple attributes. One is click, and you are having inner text as well. What I will do? I will use normalize space hyphen space, and you can give the text of that particular button. If you see, this particular has been highlighted, and I want this particular element, not the first element. So you can use the appropriate text here. If you see, that particular element is got highlighted. After performing this identification of this particular button or the element, I need to perform the click action on this element. Driver dot find element, not elements, by dot XPath, and you need to use this particular locator which you identified for that button. After finding that particular element, you need to perform the click action. Then after performing the click action, you will get this alert. So in order to handle this particular alert, whether you click OK or you click cancel, nothing but the dismiss or accept or the text, before performing any action, since it is a web object, definitely we need to switch to this particular alert. You need to say, hey driver, there is an alert after clicking this particular element. So what you need to do? You need to switch to that particular alert. How you can switch? By using driver variable only. All the actions, most of the thing, with the help of driver variable, you will perform all the actions. Hey driver, switch to that particular alert. How you can switch? Driver dot switch to dot alert. And what you will do? You will assign it to a variable. Let me have that variable name as my alert. Why I need to initialize a variable? Because after switching to that particular alert, still there are some actions which I need to perform. I need to get the text of that particular alert. I need to click on the OK button. Accept is nothing but OK button. And it click on the dismiss button, and which is nothing but cancel. And there is a text box here. So I need to send some value to that particular text box. These are the methods still I need to perform after switching to alert. Yes, I have switched to alert. Thereafter, automatically after switching, the driver switches to alert. I can perform the actions. First action, my alert. With the help of this variable only, you can perform all the actions. Dot text. When I use text, it will try to print the text of that particular alert. Let me execute this one more time. If you see, it has opened that particular URL. Click on that, this particular button, that alert has been popped up. And if you see, I am a JS prompt. This is the text of that particular alert. I am a JS prompt. Next, my alert dot send keys. I can say some random text like X, Y, Z. Next, after sending the keys, I can perform cancel or I can perform OK. Nothing but OK is nothing but accept. Cancel is nothing but dismiss. So upon entering here some value X, Y, Z, if I perform the OK button or accept button, you can see here the entered value X, Y, Z. Or suppose if you didn't entered anything and if you perform cancel button, it says you entered nothing or null. In this way, you can interact with that alert. First thing, I have printed the text of that particular alert. I'm sending the keys. Thereafter, after sending the keys, I will perform accept. It's nothing but clicking on the OK button. And I can also perform dismiss. Let me comment this for a while. Let me use time here, time dot sleep, so that you can understand the transition. I will wait for 3 seconds. After printing the text of that particular alert, I'm just sending some value to that particular text box. Thereafter, waiting for 3 seconds and clicking on OK. Once you click on OK, whatever the value you entered here, it will be highlighted here. You can do one thing. After entering the value, you can check whether the entered value and the displayed value are equal or not. You can take this as assignment. Let me execute this. Yes. It has entered the value and clicked on the OK button, and that value is displayed here. Try to perform all the actions on the alert. Text, send keys, accept as well as dismiss. Let me comment this accept. Let me click on the dismiss and let me execute it. After waiting for 3 seconds, it will perform click action. Yes, after performing the click action on the cancel button, it has shown that whatever the value which we entered is null. Even though we entered the value, if you perform the click action on the cancel button, definitely it will try to show us this. In this way, you can handle alerts. If you want to perform any action on the alert, first thing you need to switch to that particular alert. Then, with the help of a variable, after switching to alert, you can execute these particular methods: text, accept, dismiss, as well as send keys. This is about alert. Then, another important pop-up. It is very important whenever you are working in a corporate environment. Definitely, before entering into the website of that particular company, definitely it will ask for username and password. Until unless you enter the right credentials, you will not able to access the company's resources. So this is nothing but an authenticated pop-up. Very important. Handling this authenticated pop-up is very important. What is an authenticated pop-up? When we launch an application, it will ask for username and password. I will show you in a while that how that looks like. Until unless we enter username and password, the page, the company resources will not be able to access or will not appear. It is nothing but the pop-up which we see is nothing but authentication pop-up. Authentication means verification whether you are a right person or not. So as like alert or a pop-up which is authentication pop-up or alert is not a web element. It is a web object additional window imposed on top of the application. As like you are seeing here, when you click on this particular button, it is the additional window imposed on top of this particular web page. In the similar way, coming to authentication pop-up, it is not a web element, but it is also an additional window imposed on top of application. Then, if it is not a web element, you will not be able to identify that particular locator of that element. If you are unable to identify, you cannot perform the actions. Then, what is the another way which you can try to handle authentication pop-up? We will see in a while. Why authentication pop-up? Companies intentionally introduce these authenticated pop-ups before accessing applications to check whether you are a right person or not. If you are not a right person, if you access that company resources, definitely that company is in danger. Hackers can steal all your data. There may be hacking of your websites. All the things will be able to happen. So, in order to check whether you are a right person or not, companies intentionally keep this authentication pop-up. If you do not enter right username and password, then that website will kick you out. Even send keys method also will not work. When you are writing an automation script, you will definitely use, if there is a text box, you will use send keys method. But that is also not work in this case. Then how you can handle this authentication pop-up? We need to bypass authentication pop-up by injecting username and password. Very important. How you handle authentication pop-up? You need to bypass authentication pop-up by injecting username and password into the application. Let me take you a simple example. Suppose this is the website which I am trying to use in this particular demo. Let me take this particular URL of some that particular website. Let me go here. Let me execute it. Or let me open incognito. Let me go here. Let me paste it. If you see here, it has authentication pop-up. And when you entered the URL, it has asked for your username and password. If you enter username and password, suppose in this case, this particular website or this particular authentication pop-up has the username of admin and similarly password of admin also. And when you click on sign in, this particular page will appear. And let me execute it one more time. This is already used that particular username and password. So let me try to delete this. Let me reload again. No, let me try to take another incognito. Let me open that again. If you see here, that particular pop-up has been again occurred. And if you see, upon right clicking also, it will not able to get the developer tools, or you cannot inspect anything. You cannot inspect anything anywhere, or go here, more tools, developer tools. And you can see, take this pointer and go, come here. You will not able to inspect anything. Then, how you can handle this particular authentication pop-up? The best way is to inject username and password. How you can inject username and password? So this is the URL, and you need to specify username and colon, you need to specify password, and at the rate, you need to specify the whole URL. Username, password. This is nothing but injection. In the URL itself, what you are doing, you are injecting username and password. You are bypassing authentication with the help of injection. What you are injecting? Username and password. What I will do? I will try to use this particular URL. Instead of username, I will use admin. Instead of password, I will enter the password. In this case, the password is also admin for this particular website. Let me take this particular URL. Let me open incognito. If I do not inject username and password, definitely it will ask for authentication pop-up. What I am doing here, I am just entering username and password here, admin colon admin, and after injecting, I will use this directly open with the help of this. If you see here, it has automatically entered that username and password. It has landed onto this particular page. In this way, you can handle authentication pop-up. Very important interview question. How you can handle authentication pop-up? Again, I am repeating. You need to bypass that authentication pop-up by injecting username and password. How you will inject? In the URL itself, you can enter username and password. With the help of this, you can directly open that or land onto particular company's resource. Let me create a module of authentication pop-up. And let me use this particular imports here. After importing, what I will do, I will try to open this particular website so that you will get to know whether it will ask for you username and password. Driver dot get, and I will enter this particular URL, and driver dot maximize browser window. It will open this particular URL and it will maximize. And if you see here, it is asking for username and password. Instead of this, what I will do, I will try to inject username, admin, colon, and password. And you need to specify at the rate here. If you specify like this, definitely you will not get this authentication pop-up. Directly you will land onto home page. Let me execute it one more time. Yes, it has directly entered username and password, and it has landed onto this particular homepage of that particular company resource. In this way, you can handle authentication pop-up. Very important interview question. You need to inject username and password in the URL itself. Why companies keep this? To check whether you are a authenticated person or a right person or not. This is about authentication pop-up. Then there is another type of alert or pop-up, which is nothing but notification alert or notification pop-up. What are they? Notification or authentication, or notification pop-up or notification alert. Before going to details, let me take to you Redbus website, redbus.in. When you landed onto this particular website, it is asking for show notifications. This is nothing but notification alert because it is talking about notifications. Or I can also call this as notification pop-up, or it is nothing but browser level notification. Three types of alerts or pop-ups. Alert or pop-up, it's a normal alert or a pop-up. Authentication as well as notification alerts or pop-ups, or I can also call them as browser level notifications. Then how you can handle these type of notification alerts? Browser level notifications or notification alerts or notification pop-ups. Very important. How you can handle this? To disable these alerts, until unless you perform this, there is some chance that you cannot perform anything on this website. Not only this website. If you see notification alerts or pop-ups in any website which you are trying to work, there may be a chance until unless you handle this particular alert, whether you allow or whether you click on the block, you cannot do anything on this particular website. Or I can also say in this way, when you, if this particular website asks you to show notifications, whenever you are performing any action on this website, suddenly if some notification occurs, with the help of that notification, if that element which we want to identify will be there besides that notification, then automation script, there may be a chance that it will not be able to identify that particular element. In that case, script will fail. So in order to handle those notifications, definitely it will ask for whether you need to show notifications or not. That particular website asks. So you can click on allow if you want to show that notifications, or you can click on the block button if you don't want to show that notifications. So the best way is to handle these alerts. How you can handle? There is one way. In the desired options, anyway, you are initializing a desired options. You are doing detach as well as true until unless you give quit or close command. In the desired variables only, it will not able to close the particular browser window. In the same way, instead of add experimental option or after or before add experimental option, you need to add argument. How you can add that? Let me create Python module of notification alert. And from Selenium, definitely you need to import WebDriver. And in the WebDriver, you are having desired capabilities. You initialize that with a options variable. In the options variable, you have experimental option, detach and true you need to specify. Then definitely you need to initialize a driver variable, and you need to maximize that browser window after opening that particular URL. And you need to give the close or quit command. These are the simple operations which we do on a high level. And I'm just opening this particular URL. And I have not used any another option except add experimental option. This is mandatory for the website or the browser window to be open all the time. This is the only thing in the desired capabilities which I have used. And to handle notification pop-ups, in the desired capabilities, you have add argument method. With the help of this add argument method, you can handle notification alerts or pop-ups. Before trying to use this particular option, let me execute it without this particular option. Let me go on, let me run notification alert. If you see here, upon opening that particular URL, it has asked for allow or block to show notifications. How I can disable these notifications? I can disable these notifications by using add argument. In the desired capabilities only, like add experimental option, you have add argument. With the help of add argument, what you can do, you can pass a value -- disable notifications. You just to disable the notifications, that what you are trying to say to this particular desired capabilities of this particular browser. Anyway, when you open this particular URL, you'll get the notifications, but I don't want the browser to show the notifications. So it is nothing but a wanted capability. To my browser, I want that capability to disable these notifications. So that capability you are specifying here in the argument, add argument method, You are just sending hyphen hyphen disable notifications. So this itself, by common sense, I can say that disabling notifications at the browser level, you need to pass this particular value to the desired capabilities. Let me execute it one more time so that you can understand. Upon opening, if you see here, you have not got any notification alert or notification pop-up. You have just disabled that coming by using hyphen hyphen disable notifications. In this way, you can handle notification pop-ups or notification alerts, authentication pop-up, or a simple alert or a pop-up.